Game 3 is upon us, Suning now one single Nexus explosion away from finally defeating a team above them in the standings and getting even closer towards a higher spot and chasing that final playoff berth for the likes of them. But welcome back, everyone. Once again, my name is Dom. We've got Raz over here. Now you'll notice behind us that we do have the other match occurring because of concurrent streams. We'll be getting to that as soon as we finish Suning versus Snake, but first we have to finish the final game of this best of 3. But don't worry, if you follow on the English stream, you're not going to miss anything. So, Raz, getting to this Game 3. Suning showed that they know how to play against Snake. They can play the early lane, they can play the mid game, they've got the decision making to close these games out. They just weren't able to do so in Game 1 in a timely manner. But immediately they rectified it in Game 2.
Yeah, and I think it was much easier just because of the whole skerfuffle that happened in skerfuffle.
That's what it was.
And level 1, and I think just like the pick ban really helped them out in top lane and mid lane. So it was nice to see that, to your point, once the mid game happened, the vision control towards top side was completely cleared out. So it was a much cleaner game coming in Game 2. So immediately for me, I wanted to see Snake going to pick ban, pick themselves a winning lane in the top side of the map. This is 2 series in a row where they're just constantly looking for team fights, and 2 games in a row where they're just like getting heavily punished early on. Yeah,
I mean, XiaoAL taking the Scion as that counter pick into the Gnar. Like you said, Flandre blind picking it. Legacy-wise, I know you don't like me to talk about this. Legacy-wise, he has a history as a tank guy. You know, he's a Maokai. He's got Nautilus. He even plays Fizz and Hecarim way back in the day, the old tank style when it was the Kindle Gem. Tragically, those are no longer in the meta, but Ornn is so popular. Cho'Gath is still so popular.
So he should be able to go back to those picks just because that he's shown the propensity to kind of play those team fighting tanks. I like that concept. So I really like the point that you mentioned that historically he can go back to it. But throughout the entire split, even with the change in the top lane tank meta, he seems a pretty, I would say, resilient, stubborn. Yeah. Those are 2 things you could probably go for him. So I would like him immediately to go into Game 2 or Game 3, either ban the Scion, pick the Scion, because these are blind pick Gnars, by the way. 2 games in a row, these are blind pick Gnars, and they recognize that the Scion's going to be coming up. So you either get that out of the way or pick the Cho'Gath, which I think he's had some good games in historically as well. So overall, that will help him out. That will help his jungler out, because if he gets punished heavily, then at least he can help rather than be the oil to the fire.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what I want to see going into Game 3.
Again, we also have to look at the communication for the likes of Snake coming into this Game 3. They will have side selection. We don't know whether or not they're blue or red just yet. But in Game 1, they chose blue side. In Game 2, we saw Suning choose that blue side. So assuming we follow a similar pattern here coming into this Game 3, SofM is so important for the likes of this team. Saving him till last when most of his jungle pool has already been banned out doesn't really seem like it's been working for Snake lately.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point to hit on. I think ultimately if they leave for him for counter pick, and if he's picking something like the Skarner or the Zac that gets to that level 6 portion and looks to kind of look for those ganks, I'm okay with that.
Okay.
He just needs to be supported in that endeavor. So in these previous series, he's not really being supported by the fact that lanes are not getting pushed out when he wants to invade, when he's looking for those invasions. And then of course in this game, when he's getting invaded upon, the draft hasn't helped him, so his lanes aren't really helping him, or else they'll lose out so much CS. So that's why for me, the drafting itself is important. But even if they recognize in the game that the drafting is really kind of hurting them, you have to have no fear in losing the CS to keep him up, keep him afloat, because if he's not afloat,
the whole ship is going down.
Exactly, and it's starting in the jungle.
It's certainly going to be. I mean, on the other side, Suning, they've been really improving their drafts over the course of this series. I have to admit, when I first saw their draft in Game 2, I was thinking to myself, no way this works. This is strictly worse than Game 1. I was immediately proven wrong. Once Knight roamed out of lane 3 minutes in, 4 minutes in, then proceeded to do it again a second time. I think we counted 4 ganks at barely 7.5 minutes into the game. So if Suning continue to draft in this manner, is there a way for Snake to retaliate if they're focusing so hard on keeping SofM afloat?
The retaliation from Snake is just to kind of understand that the meta is what the meta is.
Yes.
Right. It's kind of hard just to say that, but it is.
Tragedy.
But Suning Gaming have been playing towards the meta. The only real distractions or the changes has just been Knight's pick. Like he's gone towards the Echo pick, but a lot of the times the rest of the draft can support that by having pushing lanes and an aggressive jungler to gank that lane. That's a good way to support an off-meta pick. But right now, if you look towards the top lane, these are not off-meta picks per se, but it's basically them lagging behind in the meta.
Well, we'll have to see if that's going to work out for them. Now, Game 3 is ready, and our casters are set to take it away.
From a 68-minute shellacking, from a 68-minute slugfest to a 30-minute shellacking coming out from Sinning in game number 2. We're now going to go to game 3, and Sinning are going to see if they can be put to the test and beat a team that are above them in standings in the LPL, or can Snake hold on and put up another defense at the Snake Arena in Chongqing.
Well, the way that this set has started off, Fisher, has been all Sinning gaming, and the question is, can they continue to get those leads? And more importantly, can they close those games when they get the leads? Something that we have seen consistently coming out of Sinning gaming is the advantage in the early game. SofM's got to shape up coming into game 3 as well, and that does start through the draft and what they give him.
Most certainly does, and this time round Snake will be the team on blue side as well. Both games so far we've seen Sinning being the one that gets the first pick in the matchup. Oh sorry, no, Snake had blue side in game number 1. Last game so we saw Sinning get the first pick of the matchup.
That's so much respect towards mid lane here for both teams respectively. That is 6 mid lane bans, if you will.
Zoe, Talia, Echo, all banned out by Snake. Azir, Rise, and Vladimir from Sinning give them the first pick of Camille.
Yeah, Camille very readily available for themselves to be locked in at the same time. Sinning gaming, knowing this of course, knowing that Camille is available, they'll pick themselves up, presumably this time Kench one more time. And if they have priority on the Sejuani, if they have priority on the jungle role again, which they probably should, you might be seeing that one second.
Tahm Kench is the first pick in for Sinning gaming, whereas Hacker will get another chance to play Sejuani here. Very heavy priority picks for Sinning so far.
Now the question for me is, does Snake actually adapt in their draft? Do they go towards a jungler now, or do they continue to pick their support AD carry or top laner in this rotation? Hacker's got the Sejuani. It's an early rotate. The second ban phase can be targeted against him. And so far, the exact same.
Can be a flex Camille as well, potentially. SofM could throw it into the jungle, pick up another champion there, but they make the first adaptation, which is picking up Kog'Maw as their AD carry of choice. And this time round, it'll be Knight that goes for the Orianna.
Yeah, saving their mid laner Snake till later in the draft phase, perhaps forcing some different bans out of Sinning gaming. Of course, we saw 6 start-off bans in mid lane. Why not make it 8? Let's just continue to affect that champion pool of Guoguo.
Cassiopeia is the first ban that comes out. Now waiting to see what Snake are going to respond with as their first ban. They could start targeting the AD carry pool against Fury. We'll start going towards top laners instead, where they ban out Gangplank against XiaoAL.
Which is good. Of course, the Sion is the other top laner. There's going to be a super tank they may want to deal with. With the Gangplank banned, means that they may still be looking towards something like the Nah, however. We shall see.
Galio is the final ban that comes out from Sinning. So that's a total of 8 mid lane bans. With a Orianna being taken away, that's 9 champions that Guoguo can't play in this matchup. We still have the likes of Corki available, which can still be picked up nice and easy.
And of course, fun fact, he's only played 5 champions in the LPL. So they've banned away 9. He's only ever played 5 in his entire LPL career in 2018.
There is one left up.
There is one, yes. What is it, Fish?
It's the Malzahar. Let's see if he goes towards it.
Against the Tahm Kench.
Yeah, who knows? Look, we've seen Stranger Things. Skano was picked up.
I have, good TV series.
Kench. That was bad.
Well, it wasn't. It was a very easy win. Thank you.
The final ban that came out from Snake is going to be Nah into the top lane, denying XiaoAL that pick. Flandre was one that picked it up 2 games in a row so far. Caitlyn is the AD carrier choice for Sinning to go up in against the Kog'Maw.
Yeah, again, a priority towards the Caitlyn. Had a very good laning phase, but it was against a Varus before, so Caitlyn does still do work into Crystal's Kog'Maw when the W is down in particular. But the range, if nothing else, is going to be matched when the W is up and available. It's a Braum with it, however. So this matchup in the 2v2, you would still call very potent.
Guoguo has got Sim and Ace Machine as he picks up Corki in the mid lane, and Shen will be thrown into the top lane as SofM will be the man on Camille today. Final pick for Sinning will be their top lane pick for XiaoAL. Sion's still available. You could always go straight back towards that.
I mean, never discount something like the Kled from XiaoAL. Sion, you're right, is still up and available. He's against a Shen, though. And Shen does very well into Sion. But I also say that Shen does quite well into Kled, so this would be just as curious.
But that's the pick that Sinning will go. No, what? Hello.
You've been bamboozled.
It's Cho'Gath that gets locked in for XiaoAL.
That's better. If we talk towards the Kled and why it's not that great, it's simply because the violent tendencies, the fact that you can get the guaranteed crit timing with 4 auto attacks. Shen can just press W, you can stop you from doing all of that, and it's a long cooldown trade spell. So Shen actually does very well in the lane for the most part. Cho'Gath Yes, you can stop some of the auto attacks, but he's got spells, he's got sustain, and I really do like the choice of the Cho'Gath here compared to any of the other options, including the Scion, honestly, for this game for Suning Gaming.
Cho'Gath can push in against Shen as well, has 2 ways to stop him from teleporting into a side lane.
He doesn't lose trades, it doesn't really matter if they continue to split push, he can contribute damage to the team whilst he's a tank at the same time. I think Suning Gaming's composition with 3 tanks and one of them still doing damage helps equalize out their damage a lot.
On top of that, still fits into how Suning want to play this match. They've got the Tahm, Kench, and Caitlyn to start rotating around the map, take those side lane turrets as quick as they can. They've got a Cho'Gath to split push, but Snake have adapted going into game number 3. And now SofM's on a jungler who can put down a lot of pressure in Camille.
Certainly is. Now, Camille, it's the first time we'll see him play this SofM. It's the first time we'll see Guoguo play the Corki as well. And Kog'Maw is something that is still new to the repertoire of Crystal, but it's something that he can play perfectly fine as well. For what it's worth, Snake, they've changed up 4 different places in their draft phase. The one consistency is their support, and he has been the most consistently performing member of the roster in this set.
He certainly has. And again, as much as it's the first time for SofM and Guoguo, Crystal hasn't played at this split. We haven't seen Shen from Flandre this split either. So 4 new champions being thrown in the way of Suning Gaming going to game number 3. And every single match so far, early game has been purely the Suning Gaming show. They dictate how it's been going to pan out.
They've just had complete control of Summoner's Rift for the most part, and you hope to see that again in game 3. Suning's fans are still there, Fish.
Oh, they would be, especially after last match. You'd be a little bit demoralized after a 68-minute comeback from Snake in game number 1. Especially with the chants that were coming out from the Snake fans when that Nexus went down, when they made the base defense in game 1.
Of course.
But game number 2, after a decisive victory from Suning, showing that they can transition what they had in the early game of game 1 into the mid game and close it out, you'd have to be a little bit afraid yourselves. And Suning are now looking to try and see if they can do it again heading into game 3.
And very early movements into the jungle, it looks like, from Snake coming into this game. Invading into Suning Gaming's jungle. Now, I have a feeling that Suning know this. You saw exactly where they were standing, and they might have spotted themselves a crystal. This starts okay for Snake, but it's the next step that gets dangerous. I think, Suning Gaming have actually revealed themselves instead. I thought they were just going to sit in the bush and try and fight the 2v2.
Well, they're going back to get some chip damage onto these guys.
You can't have this blue for free.
Fury tries to get some damage onto Crystal and Hudie, who are stuck on their side of the map. But that's all they'll do. SofM still picks up the blue buff nice and early, moves deep into the jungle, has the vision, has the control of the wards that are placed down to spot out if Hacker makes his way into his own blue side of the jungle.
This time around, it's not just going to be a straight 4 buff to kick things off. There's going to be no big stumbles from SofM on the side of Snake. The pressure was there from Suning Gaming. They exerted some control, and they still have control of the bottom lane 2v2 as a result, though. It's just that ultimately, Snake have changed things up drastically.
Top of that, SofM, he's able to take down the Wolf Camp. Move straight over towards the blue side of his map. Hacker sees him rotate this way, and now he's on the bottom side of the river. Could potentially move in towards red buff. Doesn't seem like he's going to do so. Kleptomancy is the keystone that's picked up by Flandre.
Yeah, Flandre loves his inspiration trees. Now, there's probably 2 ways that you could go with this. He has gone for Resolve secondary, and going for inspiration as your primary still gives you the Resolve stats. So ultimately, he's okay. Shen's still in a good position, but he chooses, because he's against the Cho'Gath, who will presumably have Grasp of the Undying, to have an auto-attack based battle and trade against one another where they both benefit. He's just decided that his will be more RNG based, and if that RNG grants him some potions, then he's very well off for it.
Well, he's already got 1. He's got the Targon's Brace as well to give him the Bandit passive, allowing him to pick up even more gold in those auto-attack trades. But Hacker now looking to try and see if he can take a red buff away from SofM.
Tahm Kench has the roam.
SofM's looking to try and see if he can go for that play against Hacker. Red buff does reset. That's a big win for SofM, and he knocks him straight back in towards the red buff.
Hacker's playing with fire here. He knows that he's got Knight nearby as well. The Guoguo's just refusing to group up, it seems. He needs to deal with the minions.
Knight is here early. SofM takes good damage, locks him down, jumps in, uses the smite nice and early, gets some health back. Now it's going to be Orianna against Corki in a 1-on-1. Hacker is very low. Hudie is going to connect with the Winter's Bite a couple of times. Smite available for SofM once again, means he gets that red buff for free, Suning forced to back out.
It's a full team effort pretty much, but the red buff is secured by Snake. They actually rotate. They actually group up, they contribute, they save their jungler, they give him the red buff, so now they steal a blue, it's a success. They save their red, also a success. And look, it doesn't win the game, it doesn't mean the difference in the end, things are pretty much equal, but Suning Gaming aren't winning. And that is just so much better from Snake than what we have been seeing.
A couple of summoner spells were burnt during that exchange though, where we see both being used by Hudie in the bottom lane. Knight only forced to use the heal to jump away from Guoguo, who was trying to cut him off in that mid lane. Bottom lane though, we do have a lot of unsealed spellbook. Both AD carries and supports will pick it up. So Hudie, some of the spells will come back up quite fast.
One of the most creative junglers in the LPL on your screen, taking some of the most creative pathing as a regular as well. Now finds some opportunities to get some ganks up. Finds a chance to be free of the very frustrating hacker running around in his jungle with the rest of Suning Gaming following him. And now that he can spread his wings, he's got the level advantage, he starts to hunt.
They try to pick up Raptor Camp there, but Smite comes out from Hacker, secures that for himself. He wants all the small ones as well.
Oh, every chicken matters. That ward also misses the bush.
SofM.
Oh yeah, you know exactly where he's going.
Straight through the mid.
Every wolf matters.
In between the turret. Forces Hacker to come down here.
Nothing is free in the jungle when you're playing against SofM. He's just keeping you busy, keeping you on your toes. And remember, during this time, what's really important about that is that Hacker's fighting SofM, so top lane's 1v1, it's free. Ooh. Bottom lane's 1v1, it's free.
Big side step coming out from SofM. Good damage onto Hacker. Shield will come out from Knight though. Can SofM escape from this? He's very low. Force a flash. Hacker follows through, gets good damage down, smacks him as well. Picks up first blood.
They bridged too far. They're committing to bottom as well. They're really trying to find the kills.
Yeah, they're trying to chase down Hudie. Fury even flashing for that. They get good damage on the crystal as well, but that's 3 summoner spells being used by Suning to try and chase Braum. But here's SofM overcommitting to this again.
And you're witnessing live what happens when an SofM reaches too far to try and go for an objective. Without fail, he will go for those objectives. But can the Corki deal with it? Can the Corki actually commit and help when the Orianna's rotating to contribute? So the answer is no. Then you have to ask yourself why SofM was still there in the first place. I feel like he got swept up in the moment, and he was trying to fight Hacker. And he was winning the 1v1, to be fair.
He knew that Corki went back to base late.
Yes.
He saw Orianna come through the mid lane as well.
Indeed.
And so he knew exactly where he was. It's not like he was trying to hide in that wolf camp. He walked right through the damn mid lane. There's 2 turrets there.
Well, he's not here to put boots on caterpillars, Fish, is he?
No, he's not.
He's here to invade your jungle.
It did not do that very well either, though.
No.
He might as well be putting boots on caterpillars because he'd be doing a much better job. But that's costing him first blood again. So being able to capitalize on that gives Hacker some breathing room. SofM still holds on to the experience lead. And
SofM is in his own world. That's what it is. You know, he gets caught up in himself sometimes.
Knowing SofM, he's going to do it again despite dying. We've seen that from him before. Stop missing XiaoAL. I'm already tilted.
It's all right. Things will be okay. There's worse things that could have happened for Snake in that situation. The pressure's still nice. And we mentioned what it means realistically here. Is that whilst SofM is 1v1ing Hacker, the bottom lane's fighting for free. So whilst you usually say, you know, that's a good thing for Snake, we just saw the 2v2 go over to Suning Gaming. They use summoners for it, however, and so now an opportunity for both junglers to gank down bottom is a reality. But the same thing applies with top lane. You've seen Flandre grow a slight CS lead. He has control, he has pressure around the top lane. That's because of the completely unlocked 1v1. And now Flandre's trying his hand.
That's what it's being able to wrap around. Hacker is trying to follow suit and get there as well. Slow comes down. Good flash away from Flandre. Prevents the knockup. But SofM so low. Goodie comes out from XiaoAL using the Stand United to save SofM. Means they can't get a kill onto Cho'Gath.
Very clever, actually, from Suning Gaming. XiaoAL buys enough time. And because he uses all of his damage to burst down the Camille, Flandre feels this need to use the ultimate to keep him alive. But because Shen was the person who would kill the Cho'Gath, he's now stuck standing on the spot, not able to contribute to XiaoAL just running away.
Again, neutralizing SofM's pressure. He's moving straight back towards top side of the map. Going to be spotted out by a control ward.
Hacker's at the red buff, so he's just a stone's throw from the top lane.
He's got red buff now as well, so he can sneak around the back side of the top lane, make sure SofM doesn't go for anything cheeky, puts a ward down as well to spot him out.
You don't get a free recall, surely.
Stop him! There we go. So this is my jungle. Get away.
Recall's in a very aggressively stanced position there, SofM, so he's made to pay for it. Delays the recall, and there's also some Raptors available for Hacker. He can probably do a full clear now from Raptors to blue buff, get himself level 6, and maybe even look towards a gank in the bottom side.
This bottom lane's just been a farm fest between the two teams. Fury and Yoon did flash aggressively after Hudie early on, but they didn't get anything for it.
Still a CS advantage for the Kog'Maw, CS advantage for the top lane as well. Everything's still going perfectly fine for Snake. They've only had that one, I would almost say signature hiccup, honestly, at this stage for Snake.
Which is different. They don't have a massive gold lead early on. No one saw that. It's okay.
Sometimes it's better to just press your Q at them and jump forwards and maybe force the package. If the ult connected, then there's a chance. But that's a very fast Corki. It's not exactly easy to hit. The package would now be used to clear away.
Even if he got that ultimate down, I'm not quite sure how Hacker would have been able to kill him there.
It was about forcing the package, though.
Tried his best. Package still using that mid lane, though, just to clear out the minion wave. Knight uses the time to move over to a blue buff. Gets a blue buff for himself.
They're just going to continue to clear the mid lane. Blue buffs on mid laners, especially when it's a Corki and an Orianna. Very limited pressure. The only person you ever really look at mid lane in the LPL would say, he's got blue buff, he's going to kill you, is Rookie, especially on that Orianna. Just plays at a different tempo to everybody else and tries very hard to kill people.
Rookie doesn't play as a control mage. That's an assassin in his eyes. The gold is dead even between the two teams, but 800 lead on the top side of the map for Flandre. 500 going over towards Hacker in the jungle. Fairly close in the mid lane, about 300 going in Orianna's favor. And a very small lead for Crystal in the bottom lane.
Don't worry, that's just the bottom lane of Sin Gaming teleporting into their respective lanes. He might stop a recall and call it a day. So that's a pretty nice little movement there from Yoon. Nothing really massive going to come from it. They buy some time. They might be able to push the turret down a little bit.
Stops both recalls. Crystal doesn't have teleport for himself, so he can't go back to base and expect to get back in here.
I mean, they choose to stay as well. Crystal can choose to stay, and the Braum can just teleport. Okay, not a big deal, right? Again, what they will get is damage onto the turret. And for me, the other place that we have to look at, you know, we mentioned the Kleptomancy on the Shen. He's got a CS advantage for himself. We pointed that out as well. But traditionally, if you see someone have Kleptomancy, you're looking at like a Gangplank, someone that loses lane, that goes down 20 odd CS. If you're winning CS and you have a Kleptomancy, you are so far ahead in gold, it's unreasonable at times. There's real presence there. We saw it from the Shy yesterday on Fiora.
Yep.
4,000 gold ahead when his team was going pretty much even.
He is building for that split push though, which is good because Sinning rely on their 1-3-1 or their 1-4 to get these early game and mid game leads. And if you can shut down XiaoAL and make sure that he can't split push effectively, force those fights could be a benefit for Snake.
Yeah, more often than not, you will see the Shens go towards the Titanic Hydra first. Now, you can commit to another item if you would like, but getting that Titanic Hydra is very strong against most Cho'Gaths who want to rush the Abyssal Mask, or they want to rush some kind of hybrid health tanky item. They could have changed it up here, XiaoAL, if he wanted and gone towards an armor build, but chooses not to. And at the same time, Shen's very good at Banner of Command killing, especially when he rushes the Titanic Hydra. So maybe Flandre is just preparing himself for future patches.
Can always pick one up for himself as well later on the match if he needs to match Banner for Banner. But a very quiet game between Snake and Suning this early into the match. We were what, 10,000 gold up, 12 minutes last match?
Yeah, we've seen some very different games in this entire best of 3. We've seen snowballs, we've seen stalls, and now we're just seeing a generic laning phase that has been protracted for an extra few minutes. But in a couple of minutes from now, when these teams get their first items, I feel like that is a good opportunity for them to start to break away from the strict laning.
Hudie has changed his skin as well, so he's got a couple of presents ready for Suning apparently. Let's see what he has up his sleeve as well. Teleport's coming back into the bottom lane.
Well, they're synergizing in skins, Fish.
That's the Christmas bottom lane.
Yeah.
Oh.
You don't just switch skins, you know. You've got to have a reason.
This entire series has been a little bit of Secret Santa. You never know exactly what you're going to get.
That's also Power Rider Sedge. Do we call that a winter skin? Because then they're just trying to be as wintry as possible.
I mean, yeah, but that's the wrong team, Rusty. He's on Suning.
But it's in the game, Fish.
They wouldn't have known unless, you know, they were communicating during Champions League. That's,
maybe
you know,
they
competitive
were.
integrity.
There's a chat. I'm just saying.
That's true. But
is there real competitive integrity on skin choice?
Yes! Collusion.
all right.
Can't do that.
You're out of control.
It's not nice.
You're a mess.
So he's going to see if they can continue putting pressure on the top side of the map, though. Flandre backs away.
There's a ward. Single ward is going to be able to spot them, so nothing they can do. However, pressure onto the top lane turret is going to be very nice to have, and at that point, actually committing in.
They've caught out Knight. No flashback for him. That's a dead Orianna, and Guoguo gets the kill as well.
And they make an appropriate counterplay, and I'm just so happy to see this happen from Snake right now. Camille finds the target, use the ultimate, and Shen goes in with him. Flandre does not overextend himself in the top lane and die. He doesn't make a mistake. Instead, he groups up with his team, and they're able to secure that kill, which unlocks them a bit of control in the map, and if nothing else, it just got them XiaoAL's teleport, which is very valuable.
It certainly is. On top of that, even though first turret falls for Suning, gold is dead even. So Snake have a turret in their back pockets to take, and bottom lane outer is already very low.
I feel like I just saw Yoon teleport to bottom lane as well, but here he goes again.
It's the League of Unsealed Spellbook. Some of the spells can be used all the time.
And this time around, he's against the Kog'Maw that does a whole host of damage against him compared to what it was last time with completed item spikes.
It's Kog'Maw and Braum that are pushing in against the Caitlyn Tahm Kench.
Yeah, Caitlyn's actually even got static shift, so wants to have wave clear, wave control. And you would say, again, a lot of a 2v2 comes down to if you have kill threat. I think Kog'Maw is honestly, in competitive games, with a good support, very strong to the point where even Caitlyn lanes can't always keep up with them. It comes down to the trading that a Kog'Maw can do, especially in a 1v1 sense. If AD carries are hitting each other, then you'd generally say the Kog'Maw actually tends to win those. Caitlyn can hit headshots here and there, usually wins lanes though by pushing the wave, forcing you to choose between her auto attacks and a minion, or not getting hit by her, but not getting the minion. That's usually Caitlyn's mantra. Kog'Maw here can kind of do both because he's got a Braum.
Varus does well into Kog'Maw, which they didn't opt for here. Caitlyn does well into Varus, just Kog'Maw does well into Caitlyn. Rock, paper, scissors in this bottom lane at the moment. Also relies on their support. Tahm Kench is a more defensive-based support. Hudie can be a little bit more aggressive throughout the shield to make sure they push in as well.
To be fair, I think Varus wins all of them anyway because he's Varus. It's just that he gets outscaled in the later game from range. So it's very easy to lock down, very easy to kill when you get to those team fights.
Hello!
Fury's dead.
Where did he go?
Only his gun remains. The bottom lane outer turret's just going to drop.
Easy turret pickup by Snake. They equalize the turret deficit and take the gold lead for themselves. 1,500 gold up.
Yeah, they're set. Snake are just winning through laning phase. One of the strengths of Suning Gaming, one of the most bloodthirsty, aggressive, fast-paced early game teams. They don't have it right now. They're not looking towards that just yet. They're wanting to hold on. They've drafted a very good team fighting composition when they get to 3 items. Super strong. But it's not like Snake don't. They've got the Corki and the Kog'Maw.
They've just got ways to shut down the way Suning want to play as well. We already said Shen on the top side map means XiaoAL can't split push effectively. SofM's on an aggressive jungler right now, so they can go for those picks instead when they're split up. What are you doing there, Fury?
I believe he uses the stopwatch here in an attempt to get rid of the Braum passive, but he was going to be stunned because of the duration of the Braum passive regardless, and he had the flash, so ultimately I think that's just a bit of a mistake from Fury. He tries to save the summoner spell, but instead loses a turret and his life for it. Not too sure on the timing of the Braum passive, I've seen.
So Snake, small lead for themselves. Suning going to try and park their AD carrying support in the mid lane, where mid lane outer turret for Suning is very low after the push that came up from SofM and Guoguo on the pick against Knight. They may have found Yoon here, though.
They have found him.
Do have a flash. They get away for now.
They're able to push Yoon away, but that's also pushing away Vision Fish. He gets 1 ward down. Means that the blue side jungle of Snake is mostly protected. SofM, of course, knowing it doesn't have wards, is going to the other side of the map to control Vision a little bit more. They're threatening mid. They're utilizing Guoguo as a place they can pivot from or pivot to as they please. But mid lane outer turret is the one that they need the most against that Orianna. If she doesn't have blue, then opportunities present themselves.
Suning to rotate Caitlyn down into the bottom lane this time. Clearing out the wave that Guoguo was able to push in. XiaoAL having a difficult time against Flandre on the top side of the map.
It's also pretty much impossible to kill. Not just because it's a Shen into a Cho'Gath, but because he's completed his support item. You know, he's completely upgraded the relic shield.
He's got wards.
Yeah.
That's silly.
He's got 4 wards, not just wards, and now he's going towards what seems to be a banner of command as well to continue to pressure that Cho'Gath out.
Oh, give XiaoAL a break. He just was up against Flandre. Now Guoguo's up there to continue hammering down the pressure.
XiaoAL had a break in game 2, man. The pressure's just going to continue up here because it's working and because there's a turret they need to break up there, most importantly. Doing all the correct steps here, Snake. Constant pressure, stopping him from recalling. He doesn't have the teleport. They can chunk him out. They can send Shen to any side lane they'd like. And I like, in particular, that Snake are diversifying their lane assignments. They are actually changing things up and giving it a different go.
Now they're the ones trying to tear apart Suning Gaming. And Snake were the kings of split push. Back when we had frequent lane swaps, Snake were doing it every single match. And every match they got a successful lane swap level 1 was a match they won during that split of the LPL where it was changed.
Yep.
So they know how to play against us. It's a different style now after the changes, but they know exactly what they need to do. Seems like they're executing it well in game 3. Now, Suning from this position so far in this split have not been able to find comebacks, have not been able to find those plays. So it's going to be a big test to them to see if they can do it against Snake. Not only have we mentioned time and time again that they need to find wins against teams that are above them in standings if they want to promote up into the top 4 and stay top 4 for playoffs. But this is a good test to see if their playstyle works when they're behind as well.
It's also just about, you know, can Suning Gaming do what Snake did? You know, they can scale. Their team fighting is decent. They've got a pretty good 5v5 here. I still would say that Snake's having the Kog'Maw is going to be very strong, and they're almost equal. So if you look towards the late game team fights, you look towards the late game 5v5s, and Snake just get there sooner, maybe that's going to be something that upsets the balance here for Suning Gaming. So far, I'm well and truly on the Snake camp in this game. Whilst the gold lead hasn't reflected anything major, you're looking towards some kind of behind-the-curve team fighting from Suning Gaming, getting one of those big moments to bring themselves into an advantageous position. But currently, Rift Herald should be a turret. Top lane pressure should also be a turret sooner or later when it falls. SofM can just pick and choose between which one happens first.
That team fight's not going to be anytime soon for Suning as well, because 2 items already picked up for Crystal. The main items he would lean on a Kog'Maw to bridge those item power spikes. Fury has been farming this entire time, and he's gone back to base. Still doesn't have enough gold to complete his Affinity Edge. It's so close. Top lane turret's going to fall during this time. Guoguo still has package available as well.
Yeah, good stuff here from SofM, just threatening the top side. He knows that Fury and Yoon have been upside on the top lane. They're not going to be able to rotate to mid, but mid's still just so hard to crack. They choose to commit to top. They'll take the free gold, they'll take the free control of the lane, and then they'll threaten mid lane.
They're trying to jump into that mid lane. SofM goes in first. Shockwave just kills him. Where did he go?
No one knows why SofM did that. Let alone, you know what? I've no idea. He's a magician fish. First question is why is he there? Second question is why is he initiating? And then I'm out of questions. Because he's just already dead.
If you're a magician, making yourself disappear should be your last act, not your first 2. Because that's 2 times now SofM has just run head first into the opposite jungle and still able to take him down nice and easy.
Knight will pick himself up a kill in doubles as well, as if pushing mid lane was not hard enough to do already. For the side
so
of
low.
Snake.
They could have played it cautious.
He does it. You know, SofM's just, he's got these moments. He is such a good jungler, but not all the time.
Sometimes Tinikun would be proud of the jungler that he's brought up and now in the LPL, but the other times I believe he's just face palming and wondering what the heck's going on.
Thing is, like, I get it. You know, I understand. He wants to get the mid lane out of turret. He wants to threaten the dive more than just go for it. And he has the ultimate to outplay Shockwave if need be, right? But he just dies. He's super fragile. He's building a Trinity Force, as Camille's a want to do. He's not someone that should realistically be going in first like that unless he knows he's going to get out alive, knows he's going to get out safely. And I don't even really think that Yoon using the ultimate to get there means too much in the end. Even if it was just 2 of them there, that was probably a mistake.
Criticism of SofM aside, this is a good punishment that comes out from Suning and gives them the breathing room they need to try and reset and find their footing in this match. Caitlyn now has that Infinity Edge.
Yep, they're definitely getting towards those item spikes, Fish. They are going to be even stronger than they were before. And as the fighting goes in a 5v5 sense, when we compare the items, they are very much aligned with their opponents now. Especially with the experience marks. As long as you've got 11 and 16 for Orianna, the damage is huge.
Snake, however, are the ones that are in control of the elemental dragons of this match. Again, we get Cloud and Ocean. but much more even game. All the added turrets have been broken on Sunning's side of the map, except for mid lane, which is very low. A couple of pushes from Snake should take that down.
And I would say there's an argument to have at least used the Herald in the mid lane to break that outer turret, make things very easy for yourself, compared to just using it in the top lane, where the Corki with the package was mostly controlling that anyway. So, for what it's worth, I think Snake have in part done this to themselves, not just SofM by diving the mid lane, but by not summoning the Rift Herald for the mid lane and then threatening the dive instead. And Fury and Yoon were not at item spikes at that stage, and of course this is all retrospective, but the what-ifs are very much there for this game so far.
So Snake's next objective should be trying to break that mid lane turret. SofM's tried, didn't work. Sunning still have bottom lane to deal with, still have mid lane to deal with themselves, and Braum, now that it's online, will be a point of the map that these two teams can start looking towards.
And speaking of Baron being a point of contention, you actually have to look towards the top laners first. Now, a Shen and a Cho'Gath with a Banner of Command finished is a place that you'll always be looking towards.
Oh, no.
Cho'Gath has a very difficult time dealing with that, and so if a cannon arrives, Shen is able to start a push and then use it on a minion, then the Baron can actually be considered by Snake, just because it takes way too long for XiaoAL to go down there and to work with that, and if he does, then the Baron's free, and if he teleports, then the minion actually pushes very successfully.
Mid lane out of turret, still low. Snake still trying to take this down. One thing that kind of pushed Orianna out of the mid lane meta for a brief period of time was when Rift Herald was first introduced, and that could break the mid lane turret, as you mentioned. Difficult for Orianna to use Shockwave or to clear out the minion wave when that's charging down. Now that it's already been used top lane, easy task for Sunning to constantly make sure that this mid lane turret stays healthy.
And it's a very big Orianna at that. Finished the Luden's Echo on her last shot.
Ooh.
2.5 items, but has the flat magic penetration available. And then you look at the other side of Snake and say, where is the magic resistance? Well, Camille doesn't build it. She's still building a Trinity Force. AD carry is pretty much the only place that has it currently. Everyone else will take full damage from that Shockwave. And she has the blue.
Finally, Snake will try and make their way towards getting more damage on this. Again, it's just all focused around this turret. We talk about it all the time. Yes, Knight has blue buff, has those items available, but Snake are just slowly chipping away at it.
Yeah.
Eventually, it's going to fall, unless Sunning make a clever play. You can see Guoguo being a little bit cheeky with the rapid fire cannon, trying to get a bit more damage on that turret.
It's focused, but it's not full focus. This is the first time in the game where we've seen everyone slowly group up around it. SofM's threatening near the Raptors. Once again, looking towards a dive, or at least to scare them away from the turret. If they step back, then they step up.
They step forward, try to get as much damage into this as possible. One more time would be enough, and that's... We can talk about the rest of the map. Yeah, Shen's pushing against Cho'Gath. Top lane is being controlled by Snake. But really, this is a big pivot point for Snake at the moment. They can get that turret.
It's necessary.
It unlocks Baron for them.
Absolutely. I mean, just unlocking the map is something that Snake need desperately. If they get that turret, unlocking Baron, and what you mean by that is that they can place deeper vision into the red side jungle of Sin Gaming. Currently, they're controlling the river, and they do have control of the river. You can see some of the wards placed, especially the one in the Baron pit. It's theirs, but they can't step up to the red buff. They can't go to any brushes near that area, because they'll be face-checking an Orianna and a Sejuani and perhaps even Caitlyn traps. And all of those things are far too dangerous when the game is even to walk into. They will one-hit you.
Sinning have done a good job. They've been able to bridge Caitlyn's mid-game into the late game now. She's about 600-ish gold away from completing that second Zeal item and building into a rapid-fire cannon. When
That'd
that's
be a
online,
pretty good skinfish.
What's that?
8-ball Caitlyn.
8-ball Caitlyn?
Yeah, her head's just a giant 8-ball, and she can be called Caitlyn. I'm just trying to back you up here.
Look, besides the pun of the name, don't quite see how that concept's going to work.
I mean, her headshot could be RNG. You know, you shake your head around and say, try again next time she doesn't get a headshot. Just give it a suggestion.
It's not how skins work.
It is now.
No. You are not the design team. But finally, Snake will break this. Come on, Crystal,
right.
get it. There you go.
We did it.
So they're going to unlock the map a little bit more, increase their gold lead slightly. Sunning have been able to hold on and do exactly what Snake did to them in game number 1.
You know, we're looking at Crystal on the screen. You can notice that he also has a Blade of the Ruined King opposed to the Hurricane, which is to hit multiple people. Blade is for the individual target damage, but he's also gone for Overheal in Precision Tree as his secondary. The fact that he's got that extra shielding, and Blade of the Ruined King as his third item, to have the lifesteal, to actually have that extra healing. Kind of a necessity from him, something that he's put himself towards doing, knowing that he wants to do damage to individual targets. Cho'Gath, Sejuani, all health stackers.
Will be a nice,
very good against that.
Will be a nice pickup when an item like Locket is complete for the rest of the team, giving that bit of overshield as well.
Yeah, definitely. We've barely seen any interaction on this map so far. This is not very LPL.
SofM's died a couple of times for Snake, that's it. Suning got two good picks.
There's another Cloud Drake up as well in less than 20 seconds.
Probably going to be Snake trying to control that because they've got Shen with the advantage at the bottom lane.
Yeah, you'd imagine it's free. SofM looks like he's just going to be soloing that one out. Flandre might come over and give it a tap or two. Easy as you'd like though, no contest from Suning Gaming. It's actually an opportunity for Suning to go towards the Baron and play some deeper vision if they assume it is being done. But they're too afraid to step up. In fact, it's just a free recall time. And
it kind of feels like game one again, but very different perimeters in this match. You've got a Shen for Snake this time round. They're the ones with the lead. So even though they're going to be the ones that are going to try and split the map up against Suning, they have that champion that can get into a team fight easy, impact the team fight straight away besides waiting for a teleport time to complete. Whereas Suning, they can look for a fight, but Yoon's the one that gets caught out here. Takes so much damage. Crystal used the stopwatch. That actually might just kill him. Flashes away.
That stopwatch was very risky. Teleport also used and cancelled by XiaoAL from the bottom lane. Shen now has two different forms of teleportation to get to the area if he sees fit. And suddenly Snake, from a game that was very slow, very stagnant, nothing really happening, they do find a big opportunity to use the bottom side of the map as a pivot point.
Yoon actually teleporting back in. They're so scared that there is this Baron being started by Snake that they force the teleport out of Yoon, force him to get back into that pit as soon as he can and put the wards down. Even XiaoAL refusing to go into the bottom lane because he doesn't have teleport available.
If he goes down there, suddenly Flandre just teleports in. Even if he doesn't use the teleport, he could use the ultimate just to come into lane if need be. Walk back bottom and still have the teleport threat. There's just too many options here, too many problems for Suning Gaming to deal with. Their next response, their next movements potentially decide the game.
Now Flandre just takes that turret, easy, and he moves straight towards the inhibitor turrets instead. Suning are looking to see if they can get the wraparound against Flandre. Blue buff being picked up by Knight.
And the Baron should just be started by SofM and the rest of Snake. It's already at half health.
Sane United coming in already, so this is a full 5-on-5 if they can get there in time. There goes HaKa, doesn't win the smite battle. SofM comes out clutch again, secures it for his team. But XiaoAL's trying to go in as quickly as he can. Does not get the rupture. HaKa's getting chunked down. SofM gets that kill. The Kog'Maw's just way too strong. He rips through the front lines at the moment. Knight wants to find a good shockwave, but Crystal and Guoguo are splitting up, playing this one safe. Great taunt comes out. Hudie tries to back him up. Flandre flashing out with a sliver of health as well. Snake get the Baron. They win a team fight as well.
Knight holds the shockwave and both summoner spells that entire time. So Snake, they back away at the correct moment. They do not overexert themselves. They do not overextend. And they get the Baron, they get a kill on the jungler, and everyone gets out clean. Not exactly in a situation that you would have expected. Snake, yes, starting the Baron at the right time was okay there, but at the same time, they made it a smite battle. It wasn't necessarily a 50-50, but a Sejuani was in the pit. That was not as close as you would want it to be if you were Snake.
But they did what Suning didn't do in the last match, which is actually take the Baron and force this fight.
Yeah, so they'll get the Baron, they'll make sure that HaKa, of course, he won't have a passive, he won't have a stopwatch. When he tries to dash back forwards and contribute, he's just caught down now by Camille from all of the damage that they'll be able to put through from Crystal. And at that moment, it was just back away and zone as much as you can.
Now, Snake, they've been able to take the point which was difficult for Suning in game number 1, which was pick up the Baron and start to use that first Baron buff to increase the gold in. Now 8,000 gold up over Suning. They've got outer turrets in the top lane and mid lane to work with. They already have Crystal and Hudie trying to take that one down by themselves. But Guoguo's got the package with the Trinity Force as well as all the 80 damage he has at the moment. That turret should fall nice and easy.
Not as easy as you would like, but it will fall down very soon regardless, Fisher. You're correct. They're going to push mid, they're going to push bottom. And it's a 1-2-2 setup with SofM as the immediate quick pivot point. Speaking of pivots,
they're going for a fight top side of map. Suning trying to collapse onto Crystal and Hudie. Hudie Jumping forward, pops the stopwatch. There's a good shockwave, but it's only onto the tanks of Snake. However, they're trying to see if they can lock down Flandre. A little bit too slippery. Shadow dashes away. Meanwhile, Guoguo and SofM chipping away at mid lane inhibitor turret.
And threatening another structure. They have so much damage, it's just going to go down almost. And now they are battle station Sin Gaming. Don't let it happen for free.
However, Snake just rotated to the bottom lane. They're just all over the map.
Teleported.
There's too many Snakes on this damn rift, and they're trying to go for the inhibitor in the bottom lane. That gets taken down. Crystal will pick it up. Sunny can't find a team fight that they want. They're just so slippery.
That was very clever from Snake. The teleport usage gets them an in-hit. Pushing forward.
Oh, they've locked down Fury. SofM dives into the backlines. Kog'Maw's trying to get the snipe. Good save coming out from Yoon. But do they have enough damage to turn around the fight? Guoguo is already working on this inhibitor. Neither of these two teams want to try and break out into a full-blown 5-on-5, but Snake destroyed the base of Sin Gaming.
And if there is no 5v5, Snake are going to win. The teleports that they had were honestly just genius right there. Everyone going towards the top side of the map, diffusing Snake's push, trying to get a pick, but because nobody dies, because Sin Gaming back away and to try and respond to the mid lane, everyone from Snake recalls and teleports bottom, and it was just a giant game of Ring Around the Rosie. Snake always a step ahead.
They didn't change anything up from game 1 to game 2. Sin won that early game both times. Game 2 a little bit more decisive. Snake had to fight through game 1, 68 minutes of a match. Game 3, the coach makes the change, and suddenly everything is piecing together nicely for Snake.
The interesting thing here as well, in game 1 when there was a sick base hold and comeback from Snake, they had the outscaling composition, but they've still got the Kog'Maw in this third game. So even though Sin Gaming are trying to turtle, they're trying to hold on and defend their base, they don't necessarily strictly outscale here by any means. For what that's worth, Snake, they've got the lead, they've accelerated the lead, it's over 10,000. You'd almost say it's insurmountable for Sin Gaming unless they engage right away and the shockwave hits the mark.
They only have one inhibitor turret left to defend though for Sin. That's on the top side of the map. Snake still have Shen pushing in the bottom lane. Still has that banner of command available when he needs to keep pushing in against XiaoAL. Good traps are being placed down by Fury, but it's only going to deny Snake for so long. They could wait for the next Baron buff, or they could just beeline towards Elder Dragon.
I actually really like those trap assignments. Take note if you notice what they were as well. When you've got an Orianna on your team, you route them into one funnel. You don't just block the entire entrance. You know, the shockwave is there, you can threaten the entire area instead. The whole lane was covered. Snake, they now move over towards the Elder Dragon. Sin Gaming are responding. I don't know if they'll get there in time though.
Could this be the Hail Mary play for Sin? Nope. I think they decided to back off, seeing that Elder Dragon had already been taken down so quickly by Snake. 3 elemental dragons is no joke to go up against. It might be enough for them to bridge the time between Elder Dragon and Baron buff coming up. Remember, only one inhibitor turret to work with for the side of Snake. And it's the last structure standing between them and moving towards the final Nexus turrets.
Bit of redemption here for Snake. It's so close they can taste it after their last set defeat. Want to prove that they're a top team. Sin Gaming still trying to prove that they can keep up with the best. They have definitely struggled in this third game. They could have 2-0'd. They could have won the entire set. Now that has been completely tossed to the wayside by Snake's resilience. Snake's ability to come back and actually macro plays in this third game. Something that has been a little bit different. The strategy, the style of play, it's all shifted.
And Snake need this, especially in front of their home crowd in Chongqing. After their fight against Invictus Gaming, very similar playstyle to what Suning like to run.
That's a Trinity Force, Shed. I'm sorry, I just got very...
Oh, goodness.
They have a Trinity of Forces,
He's got 3. There's 3 of them in the team. But after their loss to Invictus Gaming, Snake need this win here, and after that comeback, after the game 2 defeat, this is something they'll be relying on to move forward throughout the rest of cross-conference, push themselves to 7-2, keep themselves at the top of the table, make sure they stay ahead of EDG, who suffered the same loss against Invictus Gaming.
Absolutely. Keep yourself on top of the tables. It helps so much with playoffs. They're almost halfway through the split too, so the playoffs runs start very shortly. You want to at least start at the top before that has to happen at all. Still, the final part needs to be done here by Snake. They've got the Elder Dragon, and you would expect they'd be able to push in. With all the Trinity Forces running around, the threat of a split push is very severe. But because there's not a lot of base left for Sin Gaming to defend, it's very quick and easy to rotate between it, and they're holding on fine.
Baron buff's coming up as well, and Snake immediately just back off towards that objective. Suning could put up a final fight there. It might be the best chance they get at this. Flandre is not flinching. He's still pushing the bottom lane.
Yep. I don't think he'll ever stop either. If he's got a banner of command down, particularly when he gets the Baron, the game would end. He's ulting out right now, but he's cancelled.
Cancelled, but that's still so many members of Suning in the bottom lane. Trying to stop Flandre. There's 4, 5 members. They just want to kill him. They're angry.
You best believe he's dead, Fish. That's a paddling onto the Shen, but it's also a Baron buff secured from Snake. And the teleport is available for him when he respawns in 50 seconds. It does buy time you would have to expect for Suning, but not enough. Buys
time. Inhibitor 1's coming up. Inhibitor 2 should come back out shortly, but Fury, don't step too close to Corki. He does too much damage for you to handle. Guoguo almost single-handedly pushes him out. Still has the Baron buffed cannon minion. Making sure he still gets that extra damage onto these turrets. Making sure he can still build up more waves. Second inhibitor is going to respawn. But Flandre is just 25 seconds away from coming back up. That's all that Snake needs to buy time for.
I mean, the time they have bought is very meaningful though, Fish, with the inhibs being back alive. Flandre's still going to be out very soon, however, and now the threat really begins. The minion waves start to crash. They've corralled them in with the Baron buff, empowering them. And it's so hard for Suning Gaming to deal with this once the Shen's able to contribute. That's a build and a half, by the way, from Flandre.
Z0 portal being picked up as well. Flandre in the top lane. Sold his banner of command, doesn't need it anymore.
There was that time when the meta was, if they build a ZZ-Rot, you have to build a ZZ-Rot. And the same thing went with banner, and that was all the top lane became.
It's an offensive ZZ-Rot as well being placed down in the mid lane. Bottom lane inhibitor very low. Trinity Force as well as Crystal's massive range working on that mid lane inhibitor turret. SofM takes down the bottom. Mid lane falls, now it's only top lane remaining. But guess who's there? It's Flandre. Looking to work and get some damage on this. Guoguo is up there as well. Fury trying to step forward, but the dodge field gets placed down by Flandre. Negates all the damage. Suning needs to put up a last stand, but they haven't decided where they're going to pick their fight. At this rate, it's going to be right at their nexus, and it could be too little too late.
They don't really know where to do it, let alone how they're going to execute on that as well. They have no choice from now, you're right, Fish. It's just the nexus standing, but they've been routed, they've been moved around, they've been pushed and bullied, and they don't have an opportunity to look for that raw 5v5 until right now. Now's the last chance.
Snake can play this one nice and passive. Wait for the super minions to start collapsing. Wait for the Baron buff to slowly chip away at the turret. Guoguo even using the rapid fire cannons to do just that. Suning go back to base again, pick up a couple items, heal back up. Ultimate used by Hacker. Triple knocker comes out from XiaoAL, but it's not enough. Just forcing them back away from the turret for a little bit more time. That turret is going to fall. Crystal is getting good damage. So is Guoguo. Only the Nexus left up. Suning, you need to do something, or the snakes are just going to eat you alive. The lions aren't in their den anymore. This is the snake pit, and Snake want to close this one out. Knight gets jumped on, used the stopwatch, but Guoguo gets the kill. Crystal trying to kite back on the side, but it doesn't matter because Fury's forced to fight on top of his fountain, and with that, Snake will pick up the 2-1 victory over Suning.
And Snake put on a clinic. 4-3 is the end result in kills, but no opportunity to team fight for Suning Gaming. No chance to come back in that game with any kind of miracles. They were pushed and pulled, and they were smashed by Snake in the end.
Very different game 3 from 2 as well. Such a one-sided affair from Suning in game 2 where they snowballed a lead. And all it took was for Snake to change up their draft slightly, unlock SofM, who still, mind you, was a battering ram into the jungle of Suning and gifted them 2 early kills, allowed them to stay in the match. But they executed what Suning could not in game number 1, which was stall the game out, wait patiently, find the opportunity to come back in, and in game 3, when the same opportunity presented itself to Suning, Snake were decisive. They took Baron and just pushed for the victory.
And a lot of this set did come down to the Baron, to who could secure it, who could stop the other team from taking it. We got to see a lot of the strengths that Snake have got through this set. But unfortunately for Snake, we also got to see a lot of the weaknesses that they have ever present as well, things that just don't seem to go away. Snake look their best when they hide those weaknesses brilliantly. You know, SofM's tendency is to be overly aggressive. If they can hide that by having a hyper-controlling mid laner, then it looks better. Things like that. The Shen as an example actually is another big one. I think picking Shen with SofM in a team is just genius for Snake and for SofM, because guess what? He can do whatever he wants. Shen keeps him alive.
He can, after Flandre is able to hit level 6, and with that, Snake pick up the 2-1 victory. To break down the series a little bit further, let's send it back to the analyst desk.
And that is the series win to Snake. Once again, the Snake pit proves to be not enough for any of the new teams. Though the Lions put up a valiant effort, still Snake taking the series 2-1. And Rise, you and I, we were just talking about why Suning lost this game. Because it was like game 1, Suning controlled the early game, controlled the mid game. Game 2, Suning controlled the early game, controlled the mid game. And now for something completely different. Game 3.
I didn't have much faith in the sense because we were already questioning the champion pool of Flandre going into the top lane and that he was kind of lagging behind. Immediately goes towards the Shen pick, and Shen is one of those champions that do incredibly well into the Scion, so immediately going into the pick ban, Scion was still unavailable for picking. It was a blind pick Shen, and so honestly, Suning Gaming recognized that and said, well, what do we go up against the Shen, because we're going to have a bad matchup if we go into the Scion pick, and ultimately they went to Cho'Gath, which is still poor trading patterns in favor of Shen, but at least he gets push control. So that was a good idea. But ultimately, the one big, I would say, change that Snake had going into Game 3 is that their mid lane and bottom lane were just a nice pushing or at least trading pattern lane. Bottom lane was going to win just because they had the on Guinsoo's Rageblade, they were going to be able to take the fights, so they were able to have control in the lane. But mid lane, Guoguo was able to move around, and that's what we really wanted out of him.
Of course, though, it was the top lane that really started shining through with the likes of that Shen able to teleport and save SofM any chance he got.
Yes.
He's going to take our man of the match for that Game 3, the series win. And you might look at that and say, oh, 0, 1, and 3, that's really not that much to be shocked at. But Flandre was really everywhere. He kept that Cho'Gath from engaging elsewhere.
Exactly. And so if we look towards what Suning had, what was their win condition ultimately? Because there are around four win conditions in the game, which is split push, pick, team fight, and poke. They didn't have split push because this man was just constantly controlling the side lane along with the Corki pick. So I was like, well, what are you going to be able to do? They had team fighting, but they weren't able to kind of team fight because it's so hard for Cho'Gath if he doesn't get a flank to be able to do that. So they were just completely choked out of the map.
Still a tragic end to the likes of Suning in the end of this series. Though that does mean they will get a chance to be playing again sometime soon. We do now have to turn our attention towards the next matchup, WE versus TOP. We're going to be starting from the beginning of this series. You can see it going on behind me, but keep your eyes on me. Do not look at the man behind the curtain. We're the ones that you need to be paying attention to right now. Because again, we're going to be starting from the beginning. WE versus TOP. This is, boom, new page. A lot of stuff going on in this series because right now we've got the pick and ban on the bottom of our screen. WE, you can see they've opted for a very early Camille pick along with the Scion and Xie rotation. And that's something that we've got to touch on a little bit as well. Xie is a god for WE right now.
Yeah, he's doing so well currently. You didn't expect it because of the previous splits. It hasn't been a Xie show. It's mostly been Mystic and it's mostly been Condi.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, unless if you've watched any of the previous series, Condi hasn't been playing. It's been Magic on the field, formerly known as Loliot, and of course also a support sub in as well. It's not Ben playing. It's Celestial, also known as Tidy back in the LSPL. So they're bringing up these LSPL players that's been a part of the organization for so long. So it's a new look to WE with Xie commanding them.
And of course, on the other side, TOP, they've brought in their own new player.
That's true.
Perhaps a little bit more prestige, someone you might have heard of by the name of Marin, who was able to help TOP take their first win. But still, this is TOP looking rejuvenated, looking revitalized. They're still not quite a cohesive team just yet, but finally it looks like TOP have a lane that they can comfortably and confidently play around.
Yes, and that is their now one kind of focus. They've been trying to find one lane that they can focus around, see as their carry, and that's going to be in the top lane, but they're still finding kind of problems similar to what WE is, where now they need to swap around their mid laners and just to find that, of course, 2 Korean lineup, because ultimately, if Goong and Marin are playing, then Karn cannot. Karn is also Korean. So now bringing in XX, who's been lagging behind, there are a lot of experiments, a lot of, I guess, questions for TOP to levy and what their prime roster is going to be.
Yeah, I mean, we're certainly going to find out. We do know XX to be a Zac player just like Karn, but the way that the two play the champion is very differently. And you can see right there, that was XX on the likes of Sejuani. So an even easier job. Instead of elastic slingshotting, stunning by launching yourself into the enemy team, you just throw a quick crowd control to enable your team that way.
Yep, it's easy win condition. Hopefully going into this game, XX is able to achieve that. If you've found some good wards onto the map, because Tracker's Knife is still there, everybody, so you can get that control for your lanes. 8.2, wonderful, wonderful. And
for
so
the time being, at least.
Exactly. So if you can get that enough control, set them up for team fighting, it's an easy enough composition for TOP to run.
Well, now our casters are ready to get us into this game 1 between WE and TOP.